once Roman gets so, or Hogan gets so over, he cannot be there every night.
Correct.
But he's got to get to that level first.
Yep.
And in that level, they're pushing him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out in front of the people.
You know, Brian,
Yeah.
me and Chris talked about this a lot, bro. And, Triple H, Ryback has said, Triple H came out and told him at one point, flat out, there's not going to be another John Cena. Like, no wrestler is going to be bigger than the company.
Yeah.
And I do believe Triple H said that because we suddenly went into an era of like 50-50 booking. Now, it's funny, bro, because I swear, I tell you, I watch the Attitude every week, and I'm right in the middle of the build of the New Age Outlaws.
Yeah.
Bro, you guys never lost.
No. And we were on TV every week in a positive light,
Yep.
doing something positive.
Yep.
Yes, but Brian, when you go back to the beginning of time and they brought in the heel to wrestle Bruno and they brought in the heel, bro, that guy never lost. I think somehow the WWE got in a rut where, it doesn't matter who you are, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, win one, lose one, win one, lose. So the anticipation is just not there anymore. If you've got a 50-50 win-loss record, it's not like, oh my God, Hogan's wrestling Bundy. Bundy's never lost a match. This is it. Brian, why do you think that went away?
So look, I think inside the bubble we do a lot, or I'm not in it anymore, but do a lot go like, oh, well, he's got to get his win back. You know what I mean? And so that's an old habit that's not a good one. It doesn't always play, but it plays more often than not. And so look, the counter to this argument to me, Vince, is, and I always say this, somebody's got to lose.
Right.
And that's why they don't like to rub people up against each other, because they don't want to beat anybody. And that's where you get your 50-50
But you see,
booking.
Brian, here's the difference, and here's what I think the problem is. Because the Attitude Era was so character and storyline driven, if the New Age Outlaws had to be beat, there was something in the storyline. You didn't lose in a match 1, 2, 3.
Right.
I think when you have a lack of characters and storyline, and it literally is a 1, 2, 3, that's the issue. When you've got strong characters and storylines, you could beat people, but it's the story. The loss is secondary.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree with that 100%. Look, and I think this is a never-ending argument.
I agree.
Okay, just do wins and losses matter? And I know I've been famously quoted as saying they don't. And my whole point in that was, if you're my guy, you're my guy. Like, if I'm a John Moxley fan and you lost the NGW whatever crapping title you have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're still my guy. You know what I mean? Still wearing my Moxley shirt. And that was my whole context of why, when I said wins and losses don't matter, was it was about Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens could lose and come out tomorrow and cut a promo, and I'd still be a Kevin Owens guy, you know?
Yeah, I think, I hear you, and you're the expert here, but, I hear that. I'm like, see, that philosophy, though, is the reason why Kevin Owens doesn't feel like a star to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I get that side of the argument because it's a legitimate one.
Yeah, I mean, he has a niche. I mean, everybody really has a niche. You know what I mean? That I'm coming to buy a Shinsuke Nakamura, shirt or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm a Shinsuke fan. But when perception is everything when it comes to professional wrestling. If I'm perceived as someone who wins one, lose one, wins one, lose one, I'm going to be looked as a 50-50 character. But if I'm perceived as a character who's larger than life, who's colossal, you know what I mean, who doesn't lose. Andre was booked as someone who hasn't lost a match in 15 years, you know what I mean, before he tears off the chain for, of Hulk Hogan. Not like this brother. They were best friends. You know what I mean? Like, all of that perception is a part of the storyline where the fans buy in. If Andre was just someone who just won a match and lost a match weekly, the perception would be a whole different ballgame.
It's funny, Brian, because Jeff Jarrett actually pointed out to me, I never even realized that, but Jeff told me when he was the Intercontinental Champion, bro, he never got pinned. He never lost the match. He would get disqualified. He would get counted out, but he never got pinned.
Yeah, and that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Now look, I in their defense, we weren't putting together, 7-8 hours of live content a week, and so Andre only came around once a year. You know what I mean? He only came around.
I get
Now,
it.
And so it's just trickier than it's not black and white, is what I want to say. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Let's close the show with this segue. Interestingly enough, that you said that as far as Andre not having a lot of appearances. Now I know that you're all big fans of having people come in every week, but when it comes to a main eventer, I actually prefer the old school route of the main eventer not being there every week. Hogan didn't just show up every week, and when he showed up, it meant something. I remember when AJ Styles was champion on SmackDown a few years ago. I thought it was such a weak reign because he would wrestle every week in regular matches, and a big chunk of his matches were in the middle of the SmackDown. It was like at the top of the second hour. It just kind of felt like everybody else. He just really didn't stand out to me. What are your thoughts? We'll start with you, Vince. What are your thoughts on someone like a Roman Reigns right now, taking his hiatus in the summertime, popping up every now and then? He's supposed to be popping up on SmackDown, but he pops up probably once a month, if that, and having that kind of Hogan schedule from the O. Do you think that helps his character, or do you think it brings it down?
I think I 1000% agree with you, Chris, that they don't need to be wrestling a lot.
Yeah.
They need a presence, though, on the show.
Yeah,
and Brian knows there's so many ways to get them on the show without them wrestling. Bro, they're the star of the show. I mean, that is the star of the show.
The thing is you mentioned Hogan, and you're right. Once Roman Hogan gets so over, he cannot be there every night.
Correct.
But he's got to get to that level first.
Yep.
And in that level, they're pushing him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out in front of the people. And whether it's a music video, whether it's him playing the bass or whatever, you know what I mean? Yep. Hogan is there.
Stand back.
Yeah.
Very nice. I think I agree. I just, you don't want to overset, because presence is everything. And the thing is, if you oversaturate it, a lot of times when it comes to people being over, they become just like one of the boys. And like the thing is, you don't want to present them as one of the boys, because perceptively they're not. They're above.
Perception is reality, right? Yeah. And now we've even gone far enough to say that this is my truth. You know what I mean? Like what?
It's your reality.
And so it is. That guy should fly first class. That guy should appear to be above and beyond everybody else. And look, when we won the tag titles, we got first class airfare.
Hey.
That was because I went and fussed and complained.
Very nice. Very nice. Speaking of fuss, you do some fussing on your podcast.
I fuss on my podcast. I'm not sure what the name of it is. Do you know? You didn't know? It's on Apple's, Spotify.
It's on Bob Geigel.
Bob Geigel can direct you to it.
Yes, indeed.
I think.
Go to bobgeigel.com.
What was I think Jack Tunney can hook you up.
President Jack Tunney. Yes, indeed.
Who was not on the show every week, by the way.
No, he was not. A lot of times you just come to him. He was in his office.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He reminded me of like Lynn Thigpen back in Carmen Sandiego. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? She had that like big presence in the office. You know what I mean? So Jack Tunney, man, when he's suspending somebody, when he's vacating a championship,
he had authority. He had power.
That's right. You'll see Jack Tunney. Back in the day when people couldn't be dual champions. Remember, they had to relinquish one of the titles. We've grown a long way from that. So
yeah, we have.
Go check us out. Go check the podcast out. All you didn't know. Go check out Channel Attitude from Vince Russo, and I am Dr. Chris. Follow me at Chris Prolific. This is the Wrestling Outlaws, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night and solo.
Oh, you did. Thanks, guys.
Oh, you didn't, bro.